Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the 40th tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we are going to begin our discussion on how we can pass values from one script in PHP to another script. And this is actually the essence of web scripting. This is how we make dynamic websites, and this is something that you would be required to do quite a lot as a web developer. And we see this everywhere, like even when you're making a Google search, you see your keywords, whatever you've typed in the search box, being transferred to the server within the query string. And if you sign up for a website, or even if you try to log in, your values, whatever values you provide in form fields, are actually sent to the server. Then form validation happens, and then you get something back as a response. So we're going to check out three methods of passing values from one file to another. And the first method that we're going to check out is how we can pass in values within the query string. And the second method is going to be how we can use forms, and the third one is going to be how we can use cookies, right? And we're going to have about 5 or 6 tutorials on these three topics alone, and this is really important, as I said. So let's not waste time. I've got two files opened up in my text editor. The first one's called source.php, and the second one is destination.php. And these are really short script files. I've tried to keep them as simple as possible. And what we're going to do is, or what we are trying to do is, we're trying to pass in three values. Information about a person called John. So John is the name of the guy, and his age is 22, and his email address is john@gmail.com. So we want to pass in these three values from the source file to the destination file, or some place in the server. And we're going to collect these values in a super global called get. So this you can think of like an array, associative array. And as soon as you pass in values within the query string, and this is something we're going to check out in just a minute, these values get collected in this array called $_get, or the get super global. And its indices are actually the names of the variables that you've passed to it, right? So if suppose you've passed in name, age, and email, these are going to be the keys for this array, and using these keys you can get in the values, and you can do whatever you want to do with those values. So let's first check out what we've done in the source file. So I have created these three variables. Name gets the value John, age gets the value 22, email gets the value john@gmail.com, and then I have created a string variable called str, and it has the following text. So I first have the text name equals, and this has to match whatever word I have here, whatever text I have here has to match whatever key I use for my get array. So over here I'm using name, so that's why this exactly has to be name. And then I have the equal to symbol, or the assign operator, and then I have passed in the value that's contained in the variable name, right? So this doesn't have to be necessarily the same as this, but whatever text I'm using here, as I said, has to match the key that I've used in the get super global. And similarly, I have typed in the text age, and then I have passed to it the value that's contained in the variable age, and then email, and then I've used the equal to symbol, and then the text that's there in the variable email. One thing that you must have noticed is that between these text fields, I actually have an ampersand operator, and this is how you separate values. So if you're sending multiple values, then you have to separate them using the ampersand symbol. And then I have the closing PHP tag in the file on line number 11. On line number 12 I have an anchor tag, so we're actually going to display a link on the screen, and only when the user clicks on the link, these values are going to be transferred. And where are they going to be transferred? They're going to be transferred to the file destination.php. So the href attribute gets the value destination.php, and then I have a question mark, and I have again started another PHP set. So I have the opening PHP tag here, and then I've used the echo statement to output the contents of the string variable str. So this is going to be my query string, and this will be outputted here immediately after the question mark. And then I've closed the PHP tag, and I have the double quotation mark for closing this string. And then I have the text destination. So this is all that's going to be seen on the output screen when we execute the script file, and I've closed the anchor tag, right? So let me show you guys the output of this file before we proceed further. So instead of default.php, I'm going to look for source.php. When I press the enter key, this is all that I see, right? So it's a link, because when I hover over it, we can see that, you know, the pointer is changing, and if I click on it, the values will be passed. And let me actually show you guys the output of the destination page as well. So here we go. We see name is John, age is 22, email is john@gmail.com. So these values have been passed, and you can be sure that I haven't redefined these variables here. You know, I haven't typed in these values. These values have actually been transferred. So, you know, when I use the key name with the get super global, you know, the value John was fetched, and it was put in another variable called name in this file. And this variable name is, you know, even though it has the same name as this variable name, but then since these two variables are in different files, you know, this one's actually got nothing to do with the variable in the source file. And similarly for age and email, we've obtained the values by using age as the key here and email as the key here. And then on line number 10, I have an echo statement to see the value in the variable name. On line number 11, I have an echo statement to see the value in the variable age. And on line number 12, I have an echo statement to see the value in the variable email, right? So that's all that's happening in this script file. And this is a very popular method of passing in values, but then it's not a secure method, because, you know, as you can see here in the browser, that in the URL bar here, you can actually see the values that have been passed, right? So name is John, age is 22, and email is john@gmail.com. So, you know, if you were passing keywords that a person has searched for, you know, like Google does, that's fine, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But then if you're, you know, obtaining passwords from people, or information that people would not want people who are sitting, you know, around them to see, then you would probably not want to use this method. You know, you would want to encrypt the values in some way, or you would want to use you know, forms if you're getting something, you know, that could be confidential. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you guys had fun watching this one, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm going to see you in the next video, in which we'll continue our discussion on this topic. And thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Till then, take care.